Thank you, Juliana. Thank you for this invitation and these initiatives. I will also speak in English, but part of the slides will be also with Italian text. So try to communicate in both languages. I think my presentation fits well with Anne's presentation because it will deal with part of my research which is focused on the new wave of feminism and the way in which violence against women is addressed within this new wave, not so much from the perspective of #MeToo, but more from the perspective of another, I think, very compatible type of movement, which is called Non Una di Meno, which started in Latin America, and which is addressing the problem of violence against women from the perspective of all the women. Also those who do not have special resources of visibility and so on. And I think it is not by chance that both types of movements developed in the same period, in a moment in which, citing Trump, debate about Trump is pointing at a sort of backlash because some groups acquire too much power. My impression is instead that the backlash is related with the fact that it is true some groups have acquired power, but not enough yet. So Anne's image of universities where the pictures of all the rectors, directors, important people are white and men is very, very much fitting our life today. Okay, yes. So I'm going to present this part of the research which I've been doing on knowledge and social movements, looking at the proposals that these movements, Non Una di Meno, has been developing, considering it as a sort of third wave of feminism, which is able to get involved a new generation in a very massive way. And I think this is important because in the feminist struggles, generations have been sometimes closed on themselves. So the emergence of young people active on the issues of violence against movement is important, I think, also in order to go beyond some core generations in the women's movement and see which type of okay. Next. This is one of the pictures which has been used during a strike on the 8th of March, which I think revitalized a lot this day of celebration and protest. And the idea of the strike was not only to put the issues of violence against women against the core of the political discourse, but also to do it in a perspective of struggling, adapting the forms of actions and the forms of protest, so that they are available not only to those who have important positions, but also to a precarious generation, which is particularly hit by violence, also because of the precarity of the jobs positions. And this is particularly relevant in the universities, where some people may have all the most power, the less protections exist on the job and the job market. So, linking it, I'm a sociologist and I worked and tried to study social movements. What do social movements do, and why I think these movements can be important for us to try to get inspirations about what to do also within the universities. Very often we see movements in the street, but movements have been very important also, as Anne was mentioning, in doing many other things. Movement activists meet, they tend to attempt to change the world by changing some specific spaces. They put pressures on decision makers, and some of the laws that Anne referred to have been obtained thanks to these pressures. They participate more and more also in electoral politics, but they also produce knowledge. And I think that this knowledge which is produced from below is a very important starting point for reflecting on what can we do. This is, for instance, part of a research in which we asked activists from different organizations, what do you do to change the world? Many said protest, but many also said political education and rising awareness about changes. And I think this is particularly important in this moment in which women in science are also challenged by general challenge, not only to the positions of the women, but also general challenge to science. These are pictures from the March on Sciences. Women were mobilized in this and addressed the ideas of what can we do to acquire and spread knowledge about potential alternatives. I think, and this is what I wanted also to point at, knowledge is particularly important in this moment because it is a moment of what Antonio Gramsci called interregnum. So it is a moment of challenges, like the one which are perceived by movements like Me Too or Non Meno. But it is also a moment in which I think one needs to reflect about what worked in the struggles that feminist groups have done in the past, and how can one overcome the backlash effects that are still there. So there is, I think, an important element related with knowledge, which is constructions of, in Gramscian terms, counter-hegemonic type of thinking. And I think what is important is that violence against women, harassment in universities and so on, are embedded in a much broader type of environment in which, as Anne mentioned before, the point is also not only to struggle against harassment, but also to change the way in which universities work, societies work, and so on. So, Non Meno is these movements that had an extraordinary capacity to spread all over at least Latin America and Southern Europe, getting involved women on the basis of some also changes in the ways in which actions, repertoires of actions, organizational forms, and the framing which are developing. In our research, what I see is some of what political scientists call path dependency. So the first and the second generations of feminism, your own struggles in Yale, are still referred to and important. But there is also an attempt to adapt those strategies to the challenges of the present. So it is a third wave of feminism. We can conceptualize it as such, in which the type of organizational structures is even more networked and based on recognitions of the importance of building small ties among a huge number of groups acting on different things. It is based upon a return of direct action. So this idea of the general strike is also the idea to reconstruct a way to put pressures on institutions. And especially I think it is innovative in terms of the type of framing of the issues. So stress on intersectionality in the ways in which the identity of the movement is put forward. So it is an issue that refers particularly to women, but it is to be embedded in a society in which there are many types of inequalities, and these types of inequalities must be linked one to the others. It is a change in framing in terms of opposition towards an attempt to adopt a systemic vision of the violence against women, so not just one man's responsibilities, but a system that supports them. So why Harvard accepted to keep someone accused of dozens of rapes and harassment for decades is a question which cannot be answered to looking only at a specific case, but it involves the ways in which universities function in general. And finally, in terms of the type of motivational structures that the movement is putting forward, there is an attempt to bridge different type of concerns. So to talk to women feminists, but also to new type of subjectivities. So I'll go quickly because I think it is will be interesting also to have some discussions about these issues, and I will look at these elements of, I think, innovations that have developed. So first of all, what the main suggestions by Nonura Di Meno is that the women knowledge about harassment must be built through a certain type of participatory involvement of the women. So one needs not only to collect information, but also to develop on the practices, which were the practices of the women's movement also in the past. So there is a reference to the consultori in the Italian traditions, to the movement that in the 70s tried to help women to acquire women's rights in different ways. And this brought about a quite complex type of processes in which several groups met, several spaces were created in order to put forward this type of shared knowledge. Alternative knowledge is also bridged with practices. If violence is considered to be especially an institutional, systemic type of problems, then the development of alternative type of knowledge and practices also needs to combine the type of experiences that different movements had. And here there is, I think, a main debate that this movement addresses, which is a debate on the need to combine what have been in the past called struggle of recognitions, addressing especially issues of civil and political rights of minorities, with struggle instead for social equality. And I think that scholars that had an impact also on the women's movement, scholars that have tried to also understand the reasons why Trump could win in the United States, pointed at the importance of recombining the concerns of recognitions and redistribution struggles. I'm thinking about Nancy Fraser, Judith Butler, and other political theorists and philosophers that I think are doing a lot in trying to reflect on the ways in which the type of specific struggles can be reconnected with more general type of struggles and concerns. So, what I'm now presenting are ideas from documents of Ned Beno, but I'm trying especially to present them in view of which kind of process and methodological type of conclusions we can draw from the input of these groups. So one of the elements which emerged as typical of the women's movement contributions already in the so-called second wave of the 70s is the capacity to construct a knowledge starting from below, not to consider women as victims, but empowering women and other groups. And I think this is an important element also when we think about sexual harassment in the workplace and especially in our workplace. So as suggestions coming from this movement is also the importance of keeping open or reopening public spheres in which people can meet, women can meet with the different type of subjectivities and bring about their own type of ideas. So it is a knowledge which should not be a knowledge of the specialist only, even though the knowledge of the specialist is important, but should be a knowledge which starts from an account by the women on the conditions of their life. Will be enough. I think this is an important element, the economic dimension. So I mentioned Gramsci and the interregnum and the particular need to struggle in a moment in which Trump is not the only, even if he's one of the worst examples of an attempt to go back from rights which have been acquired through big and important struggles. But it is also a moment in which the type of development in the relationship between the state and the market is weakening a lot. Women migrants, women in the lowest positions in the social scale, women with no rights and recognitions. So I think that it is important also to consider how issues of precarization, reduction of the rights on the labor job, on the labor place altogether, make weak subjects even weaker, and how to find a way to combine struggles on recognitions with struggles on redistribution. The idea that I wanted to point at in the last couple of minutes is an idea which is emerging in several movements, is the idea of the commons. I was invited a few years ago by social workers in Spain who have been particularly affected by the economic crisis because they see funds cut and at the same time a huge increase in the number of people in need. In these professions, what you find is mainly women, because 90% women, social workers, and so on. This is just one example of the attempts which are made in the crisis to find alternatives that go beyond the old type of welfare state, the old type of hierarchical rights imposed top-down from the states on the citizens, Also to go against the ideas of privatizations of rights. We are talking about universities which mean right to education, social workers' right to health, and so on. I think that what is important is to consider alternative ways that the women's movement already in the past has tried to develop in order to fight at the same time a hierarchical imposition of a top-down welfare state, but also privatization of services which would increase inequalities and so decrease even more the positions of women. I think my time is over, so thank you very much. Looking forward to the